And you know the brilliant thing about the crisis that we are in right now is it is the best opportunity for people to be entrepreneurial.
Today we're joined by Ingrid Jones. Ingrid is a commanding figure in the South African media and communication sector, making a name for herself as a radio host and TV presenter, as well as being the co-founder of Mikateko Media. She's also a straight-talking motivational speaker and heads up an NPO that raises bursaries and support for women and children from disadvantaged communities. Ingrid joins us today to discuss the current business landscape and to offer some first-hand insights and wisdom on finding your own voice in the business world. Ingrid, it's wonderful to see you. Now, looking at your fascinating narrative and your timeline, is there like a common thread between this wide range of endeavors?
I think the common thread, now that you say it like that, is I've never stopped being a teacher. I always say when I go and speak at universities that if you have 5 minutes, because I'm awake at 4 or 5 in the morning, and you want 5 minutes of free mentoring, I'm awake. So it's free, you can have it. Some take it up, some don't. Because being a teacher that I've also learned last year during lockdown, I had a coach. We were talking about, what irks me the most. And it's a personality type that I have coined to call a moniker. I mean, you can call it anything.
To clarify, what personality type is the moniker? What is the
narcissist.
Oh, right.
It's that person who's forever, you say something and they go like, nah, I don't think so. They're the naysayers, the people who sit in the corner offices who kills all sorts of ideas. And in the end, they give it back to you as if you were at fault. Right there. I'm not saying you have to agree with me all the time.
Yes.
But don't be that girl.
But you exist within this world of taking risks, going for the next opportunity. Surely that must come with some element of...
I was saying if I ask that or if the naysayer?
No, for you, has there not been that part of you?
Always. You always have to ask yourself okay, so if there's pushback, am I actually right?
Right.
Whether it is about being right or whatever. And then you have to sit back. You have to take the criticism.
So obviously there's some element of self-reflection as well. You have that
absolutely.
Capacity to do that. You haven't become frozen in anything in your life like you.
Because I'm scared of comfort zones. The more you wallow in it, the more things stay the same. If I look at my generation and the people who went to school with me, the bright sparks of my generation, and I look at what has become of them, where are they? Because they got used to, I'm clever, and my cleverness will pull me through. Now, I always say to people, I'm not the prettiest girl in the class. And you don't have to patronize me by saying, oh, but you're lovely. It's okay. The whole thing of not being pretty means you have to work harder.
Right.
It's not going to come to you. So those people who are comfortable in all the positives that they always get, that's the people who get stuck in a rut. But if you are constantly cajoled almost by societal stereotypes that says, but maybe she won't make it.
Yes.
You have to work harder to tell the naysayers, I'm going to show you.
How's that work ethic bled into the company that you started, Mikateko Media?
We started, we were 3 initially. We worked at a company where the black girls in the company. And you were either going to go up or out. You reached your ceiling and then what? Someone has to die for you to go somewhere. But then there's another white person who would probably take that place.
Right.
So it was at that juncture that the 3 of us who were seniors at the time said, well, but we can do this on our own. And then we went to the company and they then gladly said, well, we will be a shareholder. And when you go in there all like, oh, I can do this. But now you are an entrepreneur and you are responsible for someone else's salary.
Yes.
They're not responsible for your salary anymore. It becomes a very different kettle of fish. And then it's about work ethic, yes. But then it's also about the bottom line and getting new jobs because it's very difficult in the media industry because there are a dime a dozen, there are many, many people doing the same thing. So how are you different? You can't just say, oh, we're 3 females, oh, we're 3 black females. Oh, on that scorecard, we score very high. But if you can't perform, then it means absolutely nothing. And at some stage, I was like, oh my God, can't I just be the MD? Please, give me 6 months. I'm not a figures person. Beat me. I cannot even budget my own household. So why did I say I want to be the MD? Because I know what I am.
Yes.
And I'm an inspirational leader. I can take people somewhere, but I can't do the sums. And the thing about a company is it needs a solid financial person. And then I thought, like, am I the failed MD? And then I started, when I speak at universities, and then I said, when I talk to them, I said, I'm the reluctant MD. Because you have to know your strengths. I could possibly be that, but that is if the understanding of MDs in the world changes. Now, I don't know if Steve Jobs was good at numbers. I don't think so. But he was brilliant at getting people behind a vision. Someone else had to look after the books. But where's Apple today?
Absolutely.
And that's the whole thing of, you need to be critical about yourself and say, but it didn't work. Did I feel any shame? Not an inch. You know what? If it's not working for you, it doesn't matter if you're the CEO.
Yes.
Do something else.
Yeah, totally.
It's okay. Stay in your lane. Stay with what you do best. And that's mine.
I love that idea so much, that you understand what I don't do well and you're willing to sort of hand that over. What would you say to a young person watching the show right now who not even sort of made the transition from the safety net, or
how young is young?
Let's say they're sort of done with school.
One has to unpack like who that person is and what industry or whatever it is that they want to go in. I can give you a blanket answer and it will mean nothing. For example, I have a 21-year-old or 22-year-old, and she wants to go into the arts. And if you look at it now, it's about what's happening. Theatres are closed. So am I to say to her, you need to stop this? What am I doing? I'm the dream crusher. I can't do that. So I said to her, you need to look at the industry and understand how you can reinvent yourself, because I'm about reinvent. How do you reinvent what you do? They have very different tools. They can use YouTube, they can use TikTok, they can use Facebook, whatever the platform is, Clubhouse, whatever. And the brilliant thing about the crisis that we are in right now is it is the best opportunity for people to be entrepreneurial. Do you know what I'm doing at the moment? So many people ask me at my age, where do you buy your clothes? Who makes your clothes? And eventually I thought to myself, but why don't I just start a line of my own clothing? And so I made 2 coats and I went out with it. And they asked me, who made your coats? I said, well, what do you think? And so now I've got a coat line. I've got a label, my current obsession, because it's all that it is. What am I obsessed with at the moment? If I'm done with coats, I can do something else.
I'm fascinated by that story. You saw an opportunity.
What am I going to do? Because I was bored.
And you were bored. Was that driven by the idea of wanting to fill a gap, or was it driven by some sense of passion? I'm fascinated by this idea. I'm passionate about something. Is that the direction to go into? Or is it about the landscape and seeing what's out there and then identifying that opportunity? I mean, is that even relevant?
Absolutely. I don't even have to answer you. That's exactly the answer.
What I'm also interested in is you somehow represent something so incredibly powerful in all of the work you've done. And we exist in a country where, I don't know, are there many opportunities out there for youngish people?
We come from a particular history. We come from a particular mindset of the government will do this. And everyone looks to government to fulfill these needs. And it is clear and obvious that it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So I think we need to relook the syllabi. We need to look more at technical skills for kids. You don't have to be all academic. Hoekom doen ons nou nog aardrijkskunde? I don't understand. What is needed? Are we skilling people to do that?
Ingrid, thank you so much. Are you up for the challenge?
Only if I can shave off your hair. I'm it. Only. Sam.
How are you doing?
How are we doing?
Not good.
Nervous?
Are you guys nervous?
A little bit.
Turtles.
Okay, so I do want you to give me your best version of the Kris Jenner hairstyle. Short on the sides and the back.
Of these?
Yes, of these. That's why I've given you some extra length in the
You're gonna mess
haircut.
up the weeks.
That's okay. That's okay. Don't stress. Enjoy the challenge. Good luck.
Let's jump in. Sam, thank you so much.
Okay, so are we allowed to cut this?
Yeah, this is like this free reign. Like
For
we
real
just
this?
meant to.
Okay.
Yeah, we meant to just.
I don't even know
Hack
what
into
we're
it.
supposed to, what scissors we're supposed to. Why are you standing like you're not doing
don't
this?
Speak to me like I don't know what scissors we meant to use either.
Okay. God, we might get the new jobs out of
Who knows? Given the wide range.
Where I come from, Bonneville, ne? Because we had electricity and I was probably the only person with a hairdryer, I used to cut people's hair.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Because...
Is there anything you have not done?
No.
Ingrid Jones?
Well, you see,
Because I want to know from of all the things that you have done, what has been consistently important for you in all of those?
You know, that's a very interesting question. What is wrong with this strand of Kris Jenner hair? Anyway.
I think it's falling very nicely.
What are you doing? That hair is too long.
I'm doing nothing.
But what stuck with me was excellence. Just be excellent. And when 1994 came, it was like black people, we were not on par with anything. So we were supposed to be taught excellence.
Right. But there's something quite rather undermining that comes to that
Absolutely.
idea.
And then I started making it my mantra that excellence is not extinct. It didn't go into hiding in 1994. We were excellent before. We will carry on with that excellence.
Absolutely.
I think I've this is not too shabby. See?
That's beautiful.
I think that's more. What's the other one's name? I think it's Kylie. Do you know Kylie?
Is it?
Jenner?
I feel almost like a joy inside of me that I don't know about.
Lovely. That's the best place to be. Don't know any of them. It's cool.
I'm sure they're fantastic people, and
I'm sure. You know, if you can survive on a sex tape, fantastic. Yeah, I think I'm done.
Are you?
Don't be jelly.
Why?
Do not be jelly. You need some help. You need
you
to
know
get
what?
rid of this.
While you assist me with this, I want to ask you another question. So the idea of assisting, is this something you've discovered, that people are willing to help people, or that women are willing to help women?
I would love to tell you that women would like to help other women. The truth is that we've become so competitive that we will kill each other to be the best.
My limited thinking has always been that men keeps the glass ceiling in place, but are you also suggesting that sometimes women are keeping...
assisting them. Some of us are assisting them in keeping that. Because you know what, there are only X amount of places and spaces. So the fight for the place and the space leads to that queen bee syndrome, where you kill everyone around you so that you can be the queen.
Right. I think a lot of it comes from an idea of a sort of a conservative idea that you don't want to sort of lean into sort of like don't rock the boat. You know, you'll very soon be cut down if you're perceived to be a little bit too arrogant above your station. I certainly come from that. I very often negate a lot of those things
because we
don't see it.
Our worth outside of ourselves.
I see.
Someone needs to validate you and tell you, Brent, you are so cute. Your hair is so lovely. You speak so well. You da. It's outside validation. Do you believe that when people say that to you? Do you believe when people say you're a funny man? Or do you go back and go like, not sure. And then you try and be better all the time, which is not a bad thing. But there's nothing wrong with the way with something that you've done. Like we spoke about earlier about your writing house, your self-doubt.
Yes.
You have to. If you're a creator, you have to put it out there. Some people like it, they don't like it. Move along.
Earlier on, you spoke to me something around something called generational curses.
Absolutely. Because we have to look at generational, well, whether we call it a curse or because it can become a curse. You know, your grandparents, my grandparents, would probably have been the silent generation, where the men went to work and the women stayed at home, and that's what it is. And if you believe that and stay within that generational philosophy of life, you're not going to move out of it. Then society doesn't move. So if you, Brent, says, you know what, but I do not want to be like my father. There's nothing wrong with what you are saying. You're not negating what he went through, or I'm not negating what my mother went through. It's just, it has to stop somewhere. Because our parents can hold us hostage.
This is the thing.
They can go, but you are supposed to.
Yes.
And then some of us will say, but don't be me, be better. That's the good parent. That's the good parent that tells you, don't be me, be better.
But it must come with, it's obviously, you didn't start out that way, but you have an incredibly authentic way about you. But have you always been in that place where you knew what your truth or your voice was and you spoke it out?
The way that I talk now is so very different to when I was at university. I would never even walk across the lawn to the shop to go and buy myself a sandwich. I was that shy.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
You were shy?
Very. until they asked me to, at the school where I was at, to chair the meeting between the gangsters and the parents. That was it.
Something happened there.
You have to do it. You have to stand there on that stage, and the gangsters there, and the parents there, and the kids, and you have to keep the peace. And you can't stand there like, no. That was the day.
Oh, wow.
I
Wow.
also knew on that day I'm done with teaching. You know when you stand there and the hall goes quiet and people listen to you? Do you know that feeling?
Yes.
And you know that the next thing you say is do or die. And they sat there and they were quiet. And that's when I knew that I've got a bigger voice than one classroom. That's when I knew.
Was that liberation or fear?
It was like a little bit of combination of both. Because not long after that I was asked to do a radio show. So then I was ready. See, you have to be ready.
That's an interesting thing, because I have the sense that some element of your growth and your progression has been like in some ways a series of wonderful creative coincidences that happen.
Absolutely, and you don't
but
even
you,
know
but
me.
you were
But you
ready.
know that? That's brilliant. But it's exactly that. It is absolutely that. It's like, you know, that you stack the dominoes and when you hit one, then it's
Yes.
It has to be ready. Because it's been ready all along. You just need to flip the first one.
You just need to flip the first one.
Yeah. But you have to put in the work. Because if you don't, that's why so many people fail. It's when someone gives you something to do and you're not ready. You can't do it.
Yes.
But you're not going to say I'm not ready. You're going to take it, but you're not putting in the work. You haven't put in the work. You're not putting in the work. And then you fail. Whatever that failure means. Your first job is not good enough.
Yes.
Second job is not, and then you start thinking like, oh my word. Imposter syndrome is one of the biggest things that make people to feel like they are failures. I feel like an imposter in my own life every day. I'm like, nah, man. Even when you tell me that, I'm like, ha, he's talking about someone else. Because if it doesn't, then you're dead.
Yes.
If it doesn't scare you a little, you're dead.
Ingrid, this has been a joyous experience chatting with you. And now that joy is going to end, because Sam is going to come and do an assessment.
I'm so the winner. Totals. I mean, that Kylie Jenner gone wrong ain't gonna happen.
Shoot.
Yeah.
Wow,
Don't be
I see
messy.
a lot of
I'm
hair
very
on the
messy.
floor. I like it a lot. Oh my goodness.
Stop
Isn't this
it.
Kylie Jenner gone superbly
Stop
wrong?
it.
So I'm trying my best here not to be biased,
Oh my
right?
gosh.
I'm trying my
No,
best.
let him win, man, shame.
I cannot let that win.
I think this is one of the-
Definitely
Let him
not.
win.
Hands down.
He didn't even know who the Kardashians was. Let him win.
Exactly. Okay.
If it's going to be that sort of token win that
Not
you
at
get
all.
when people feel sorry for you.
Because you had no point of reference because you didn't know who it was. No.
I know you're trying to make me feel
No.
better by what you're doing. It's not.
We're trying
It's
to
not.
sugarcoat it.
But are you saying that I've won the challenge?
Totals.
Thank you. Thank you, man. I've won.
Finally,
I
you've won
knew
the
I was going to
challenge.
win. Thank you so much. Thank you,
so
Sam.
much. I truly appreciate you guys' time. Enjoy.
You're a star. Ingrid, thank you so much for joining us today.
I have to thank you. It was lovely.
And thanks to you for watching today. And I know that it has been exciting. It has been exciting for me. So if you've liked what you see, please press that like button, and do subscribe to the Barbernomics channel to get some more exciting episodes with people like Ingrid Jones and other innovative people. Thank you so much. We'll chat to you soon. Ciao. Bye.